Hi friends, the day that I have been so much looking forward to has finally come, and that means that my 25 Days of Christmas tutorial series begins. This time it is titled White Christmas, and that means that you will see a lot of white cards as well as the snow-themed ones. So let's get started right now. The project number 1 in this series is going to be a Christmas planner. We all need to make a lot of lists for Christmas, whether it is a list of people who you need to send cards to, or nice or naughty list, or the list of guests or decorations, anything. Of course, you can use any notebook as a Christmas planner, but the one I'm going to make today is a kind of gift edition. To create the cover, I have trimmed down white cardstock to 9 1/4 by 4.5 inches. I'll be using via Memory Keeper's planner punch with disc binding punch inserts. The punch preset that I'm using is Me and My Big Ideas Classic. I've got some pretty silver discs that I wanted to use, and that is the reason why I decided to go with the disc binding, but you can use any type of binding that you prefer. To create pages, I have trimmed my paper to the same size and punched it the same way. Here are the discs that I mentioned, and now let's decorate the cover. I'll be creating an old wood texture, and the stamp that I'm using is designer WOODGRAIN by Hero Arts. I have inked it up with Versamark ink, and now I'm going to stamp the image all over the surface and apply some white embossing powder. The tools and supplies that I'm using will be listed on my blog as well as in the description below the video. Once the powder is heat set, I'm going to apply some distress inks with a sponge applicator. The colors that I'm using are Weathered Wood, Tumbled Glass and Stormy Sky. I'm starting by applying Weathered Wood randomly on the page, and then I'm switching to Tumbled Glass ink. Then I am applying the darkest color Stormy Sky all around the edges of the page. Then I'm going to repeat exactly the same process on the back side of the cover. Now when the backgrounds are finished, I'm going to decorate the cover. The die set I'm going to use is called Tiara Rondelle, and it's by Spellbinders. I have die cut this set out of silver mirror cardstock, and I will also need 2 additional frames cut out of white cardstock. I'll be using a frame for the front of the notebook and the corners for the back of it. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm trimming off the tabs from the corners. Then I'm applying some liquid glue and attaching the corners to the back side of the notebook. The glue that I am using is a Ranger Multimedia Matte. That actually finishes the back part, and now let's move on to the front one. I'm going to layer all 3 frames that I've die cut, and I'm going to place the silver one on top. I think for a notebook project, layering the dies is a bit better than using foam squares because it's a bit sturdier. Next, I'm going to use one jump ring to attach a teardrop charm to the bottom of the frame. I just have to close up the ring, and now we have a little pendant. Then I'm attaching the frame to the front cover with the liquid glue and pressing it down for a few seconds to stick. I'm also planning to use this leftover negative piece from the white frame. I'm placing it inside the embossing folder. This one is called Flower Garden, and then I'm going to send it through the die cutting machine. This type of folders is called Cut and Emboss folders, and you can see that this folder creates small cutout elements besides the embossed pattern. Now I'm going to apply some glue again at the wrong side, and I'm sticking the background right into the frame. The next two elements I'm going to use is this label and a die-cut sentiment. I'm going to curve the label slightly using the pencil or a handle of the craft knife, and then I'm going to stick the sentiment on top of it. To attach the label, I'm applying the hot glue only at the ends of it, and then I'm placing it on top of the card, creating a slight curve. All there is left to do now is add some flowers and embellishments. For the flowers, I'm using small blooming poinsettia die set by Poppy Stamps. I've die cut the flowers out of white and out of silver, and then I'm shaping the flowers by curling them up around a stick. I'm using some hot glue to layer the petals because it dries instantly. I'm using both white and silver for each flower, and then I'm going to add some pearls for the flower centers. I'm going to add 3 of those poinsettias to my composition. One is going to go below the label and the remaining 2 above the label. Then I will also add a couple of leaves to balance it out. Then I'm going to add some large half pearls to the frame and some smaller ones to the embossed background inside the frame. As a last finishing touch, I'm also going to use my clear glitter pen, Wink of Stella, to go all over the embossed areas of the pattern. And that is going to add a very subtle shimmer. The planner cover is now finished, and now it's time to add the discs. All you have to do is to push them slightly into the notches, and they are perfectly secured. Now I am adding the back cover, and then I'm going to also add all the pages inside. But before I do it, I have decided that I will also need some tabs. I have used this die by Simon Says Stamp to die cut 5 tabs out of pearlescent specialty cardstock by Tonic Studios. To attach the tab, I'm applying some tape adhesive, then I'm folding it in half and pressing it down to the place on the page where I want it to be. The first tab will go to the bottom of one page. Then I'm taking the next page and attaching the tab at the top of it. For the third page, the tab will go right in the center of it. And for the remaining 2 pages, I'm going to attach tabs right in between the 2 existing tabs. And this is how you can evenly space the tabs without measuring anything. Now I'm going to place the 5 pages with the tabs inside the notebook. I'm just placing a piece of paper onto its place and pushing it slightly around the discs to secure it. Next, I can also add some pages between the ones with the tabs, and I can add as many as I want to. The cool thing about the disc binding is that you can remove the page and then you can add it back on. The project is now finished. The notebook like this can be decorated on the inside as well as on the outside. You can use patterned paper to create decorative inserts, and I have also used some grid paper pages. It's very versatile. Another nice thing about this notebook is that you don't have to wait for Christmas to give it to someone. You can give it to them right now so that they could start planning for holidays. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you soon for the project number 2. If you are looking for more inspiration, here are some day 1 projects from the previous years. See you again soon. Bye!